Over the past few recordings that I've made, I've harped on what is coming in the future for you and I financially. I've talked about how you and I are getting poorer by the day and how we are constantly having to take a step down that proverbial ladder of financial standing. I've talked about other threats to you and I and what they could mean for you and I in the very near future. Today, I want to concentrate on a few of these threats and I want to ask you a few questions regarding these threats. So let's get into it. Yesterday, I read an extremely disturbing statistic. Recent studies by reputable entities have revealed that over the last 2 to 3 months, 34% of us who were just a few months ago considered to be middle-class citizens or middle-class earners in society are now considered to be poor citizens. Let's take a minute to think about what I've just said. At present, I have just over 20,500 subscribers on my channel. I consider my subscribers to be generally middle-class people. That means that for every 100 of you who subscribe to my channel and who just a few months ago were considered to be middle class, 34 of you have found yourselves demoted to being considered poor people today. 34 out of every 100 of you, or at least 6,970 of my subscribers alone. That is a horrifying figure to consider and a terrifying prospect to think about if you consider the fact that we are only going to feel the biggest effect of this lockdown in a few months' time. I'm convinced that by the end of the year we would have progressed, if you can call it progress, to a point where that figure approaches 60%. Recently we were told by the President that part of his strategy to turn South Africa around towards success is to intensify the strategy of BEE and BBBEE, and to indeed go ahead with expropriation without compensation, etc., all of which are known to be failed policies based on the results of these policies achieved in every other country where these policies have been applied, the last one being Venezuela that I know of. My question to those of you who find yourselves in the unfortunate position of being one of these people who have already been classified as poor people is this. What measures did you take in the weeks, the months, and possibly years leading up to this point that could have either prevented, delayed, or compensated for what has happened to you today? For those of you that find yourself in the precarious position of knowing that the decision to take that final step off the ladder will be coming very soon, I ask what measures you have put into place in the past and what measures are you taking now to prepare for what is surely coming. My guess is that most of you, not all, would not have taken any measures to mitigate the effects of what is happening to you right now. The reasons for this are numerous, but I would be willing to stick my neck out and to say that the biggest reason for this is because you did not believe that this could happen to you. It is because you refuse to acknowledge the problems and warning signs that have been staring us in the face for years. How many of us still find ourselves in the position of still ignoring the warning signs and will pay the price for it? The next thing I would like to talk about is something related to this and something I have been telling you for a while now. This is the fact that those of you who have been working your whole life to enjoy the benefits of your pensions that you have been contributing to your entire working life are about to lose that pension. I've told you that the government has not only told us that they are going to use your pensions for infrastructure developments, but have now also been told that they are going to create a state-owned bank and fund it with your money, your pension money. People, the pension funds are one of the last remaining sources of money in this country, and they will not rest until they have found a way to lay their hands on your money, and the history tells us that once this happens, you can kiss your money goodbye. My question is this: what measures are you taking to get your hands on your own money to protect it against this? I do know that it is not possible to just take your money out of most pension funds and similar investments, but there are so many of us that have money in similar investments that are accessible to us, and we have done nothing to protect against what is happening in South Africa right now. Why we don't do something to protect the assets we are able to is beyond me. Perhaps life is still too easy for most of us. My question to those of you who are still lucky enough to have a job that is actually still paying your salary every month and who therefore are complacent towards looking into the future and doing something to ensure that what you have worked for your whole life remains your property is this. Are you going to carry on into the future with everything that is happening, with all the evidence at hand, and with the government literally telling you that they are going to take your money? Are you going to carry on doing nothing about it? This takes me back to a recording that I did quite a while ago, where I asked the question, when are we going to believe what we are being told? I'd like to address those amongst us that maintain the view that everything will work out and there is no need to stress about it. I'm sure we have all heard the saying, playing with fire. People, this is precisely what you are doing. I live in a neighborhood that is predominantly made up of elderly people, most of which have already retired. Being a handyman myself, I've had the opportunity to go and help a number of these people with technical issues that they have in their homes. This ranges from electrical issues to plumbing to automotive, various problems. I go and just help people at their houses. So I've been able to get a very good understanding of what I would like to call the average retiree has on the current situation in the country. I have so often heard them say that they hope that the president sees this and that problem and announces that measures will be taken to address this problem or that problem. My take is that the average retiree has almost zero understanding of what is really going on in South Africa today. They are typically not tech savvy and therefore have no access to things like Facebook and YouTube to be made aware of the reality of the situation here. These people operate in a state of innocence, if you can call it that. They have no knowledge of what is going on because they simply are not aware of it due to no fault of their own. I have a lot of sympathy for these people because they rely 100% on what they hear on the news every night on SABC TV, which, as we all know, is so filtered, censored and watered down that it is hardly worth being called news these days. Contrast this to those of us who are tech savvy, and let's face it, anyone these days who is under the age of 60 and still working simply has to be tech savvy to a certain degree, or you would be unemployable. Those of us in this position who choose to deny or simply ignore the problems we face because they would like to believe that everything will work out in the end. This, in my opinion, is the epitome of the word ignorance, or by my definition, the willful denial of knowledge when it is physically presented to us simply because, by acknowledging it, will make us feel uncomfortable or would force us to take measures that would cause us some discomfort. So my question to all of you that still maintain the attitude that everything will work out is this. How long are you going to maintain your ignorance? How much more proof do you need to change your attitude? How much more evidence do you need before you take measures to prevent yourself from being the next one to take that step into poverty? Please like and share this video on as many other social media platforms as possible. It's the only way that my message gets out there. If you would like more of these thought-provoking messages, make sure to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the big red button under and to the right of this video. If you would like to be notified every time I release new content, click on the bell icon. If you would like to contribute to my channel, in the description field of this video, I have provided ways for both local as well as international viewers to make a contribution. I have also recently subscribed to Zapper, so if you would like to use Zapper to make a contribution, you could pause this video and any other video in the future whenever you see the Zapper QR code and scan it. Any and all contributions will be very welcome and very much appreciated. To those amazing people who do make a contribution to my channel and to my work, I say a huge thank you. I appreciate your generosity very much indeed. Until next time, stay safe out there.